Hello and welcome again to another episode of VeleraTV. My name is Brian Scott and I'll be your host today. One of the hottest topics in the marketplace today is partnering with Fintechs. And today I'm super pleased to be joined by Corse, who leads the Emerging Partnerships channel at Velera. Chris, welcome.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me.
So one of the things that is a hot topic is this partnership. What can credit unions gain by partnering with Fintechs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I could name a bunch of benefits, but maybe just a few here. So for starters, I would say member experience is super important. So an example here would be kind of adding new features to your digital banking app, which ultimately improves retention. I also think cost efficiencies is important. So, by letting the fintech build the product or service and you simply ingest it, you ultimately reduce dev costs and speed up your time to market. And then lastly, I would say product specialization. So, by letting each fintech specialize in their respective areas, whether it be AI or something else, and devoting all of their resources towards making it the best product they can, this ultimately allows a credit union to be best of breed in multiple areas. Whereas if you were building these products yourselves, you might not achieve that same level of excellence.
So, Chris, you and I both get to talk to a lot of fintechs, and one of the things that comes up a lot is the speed of decision-making in credit unions. That's one of the number one hindrances that I've heard fintechs have in partnering with credit unions. Is there something credit unions can do to avoid that speed of decision-making, that slower speed of decision-making that is a hindrance?
Yeah, absolutely. So we think, slow decision-making could be attributed to a couple things. So maybe one, perhaps not knowing where to start and just being overwhelmed by the sheer number of options that are out there, because there are a lot. And then two, I would say maybe lack of internal resources to prospect and vet fintech. So to solve this, I might suggest a couple things. So, instead of looking at market segments, perhaps start with the problem that you're trying to solve. So maybe it's deposits or member experience, and then discuss those problems with your peers about successful fintech partnerships that have solved those problems that they have. So, really rely on the credit union network here. And then in terms of prospecting and vetting, look to partnership programs that are out there. So Velera's Fintech Engagement Program, can help identify fintechs that solve your specific problem. Maybe it's deposits, and match that with your tech staff to ultimately help augment your vetting process.
Always starting with the problem in mind first. That's always great advice. So as you see a lot of these fintech partnerships happening, what are some of the attributes of a successful fintech partnership that you see?
Yeah, so one of the main topics we hear from credit unions is that they're looking for fintechs that bolster what they are already really good at, which is trust among their members. And, one of the main ways credit unions are looking to deepen this trust is via personalization technologies that ultimately help them kind of hyper segment their members and present them with offers that perhaps they didn't even know they needed. But a key item here that I'd like to point out is that, just having personalization technologies is not enough. Fintechs need to share that same culture and vision and are willing and able to work with the credit union's data structure. The ones who do that are the ones who will foster a successful partnership.
So, Chris, this may be a little bit of a softball, but is partnering with fintechs essential to credit union success? And if the answer is what I suspect, why is it critical?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for me, I think you can't talk future credit union success without talking about the younger generation, particularly Gen Z, who is actually the smallest generational cohort credit unions have today. Naturally, that could impact the sustainability of the credit union movement. So, research has shown us that Gen Z is fragmenting their finances between multiple relationships or apps, all of which they consider to be best of breed. So I think in order, to win this generation, credit unions should leverage fintech partnerships to bring those best of breed solutions into their own ecosystem, really reinforcing that product specialization topic from earlier. And I think a good example of this is financial literacy and savings tools. So I think this is just one example of how fintech partnerships are truly the path to reaching this generation and providing them with the products and services they are seeking.
Yeah, I think there's also a key piece in there too of once you've reached them, you need these types of tools to retain that. a lot of times the credit union mission, the vision, the values are really attractive to that generation. But once they get in, they're looking for tools like this to keep that relationship and stay within the credit union. So really great advice. Chris, it was great having you here today. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you all for watching another episode of VeleraTV. We will be back with more great episodes coming soon.